Yo, man. So ASAD, bro, again, thanks for joining me. Right.
Yeah.
And this is going to be dope. This is going to be on our website for the new guys that are coming into the program or for the guys that are kind of hesitant and they're unsure about joining the program. Right. So,
Yeah.
again, before we even go any further in the conversation, tell me about yourself. Tell us who you are in your own words, bro.
Um, Former athlete. Um, lived a wonderfully blessed life. Always had a great family structure, had a great support system. Um, was somewhat forgotten in the in a lot of different facets, even when I was playing at my job, in my pursuit of trying to get married. um, had always kind of like had to find a way to make things work for me. And as I gotten older, progressed to my 20s and then got into my 30s, you know, it's life started to catch up to me and pass me by. Things weren't as easy for me anymore. I started to feel like, I had achieved certain successes athletically. And then I went to school, went to grad school, got my degree, got my education, got a great job, um, but was just unfulfilled at some level. Like felt like I'm in doing the rat race, and with that came certain cycles of depression. And the outlet was just being unhealthy. No longer prioritize my health, no longer prioritize my eating habits, and absolutely just completely forsaken any type of regular workout routine. You know, Sadly, maybe skipped the gym for 6 years. Maybe didn't do cardio at all. Maybe played a little bit of pickup games, but not a real like down and back. Maybe a
Mm,
little game of horse or 21, but not a real like a real a real cardio workout where I would have high intensity workouts for years. And just compounded. You got older, testosterone levels fall,
mhm,
your body starts to get comfortable. Then, you get into jobs where you start to get more prestigious in your career. There's not a need for you to be on site, in person, walking around,
mhm,
in a warehouse, on the train, in logistics. You can kind of just, work remotely, and you start using your mind, and you can kind of dial away of and kind of be a vegetable in your job. Although you're mentally there, physically, you're not putting in any work. And you do that over the course of multiple years where you don't sleep properly, you don't hydrate properly,
mhm.
you change your schedule, it just be work, work, work. You get to a point where next thing you know, you look at the mirror, you're like, I'm 80 pounds overweight, I'm 100 pounds overweight, like this is crazy. But you still have the same mindset of the 200 pound guy, when you're approaching women and trying to talk to them, or
Yeah.
approaching your job, and you're trying to like make an influence at your job, and people are looking at you like you're just a fat lazy SOB who's trying to tell me what to do. You don't even take yourself serious. How am I going to take you serious?
Mm,
And it takes a toll on you, and I think the men who are in the situation that I have been in, and was, and even at some levels still currently in, is that you become complacent, and you think to yourself, I'm too big, it's too late, I'm too old, ain't nothing gonna change. And if no one, either my job or my potential spouse or partner, doesn't accept me for who I am, that's their problem. That's not my problem. They're being haters, or they're discriminating against me because of my size, or
yeah.
they're, not feeling me. That's their problem. Instead of me being honest with myself and saying, I haven't really even done anything to take care of myself in the first place. So it's true. How could someone take me serious if I don't take myself serious?
Right.
Yeah.
So let's get a little bit of background on you a little bit more, right? So how old are you right now?
I turned 40 in our program. So I just turned 40. I was 39 when I started, and I turned 40 in the program.
Okay. So just turned 40, former
Yep.
athlete. Was it
Yep.
football?
Football. Yep.
Okay. Married. What is your
Married.
field exactly? Are you in logistics or was it
No,
HR?
yeah, I'm in HR. Yeah. So I'm an HR director at a company that authenticates sports cards and jerseys, like the ones behind me.
Okay. Got you. So backtracking a little bit, right? Playing sports. Is that when you met your wife? Did y'all meet in college? When did you meet your wife?
I had to meet her online because any woman that saw me in person was not interested. So I had to do online dating and send a couple messages and had to let her see my mind and see my thought process first before I could get to her heart. But that's what happens when you big, like she's not going to see you and think that's the one. She had to, she has to see through that. That's what happens to you when you don't take yourself serious.
And how long ago was that y'all met?
We met in 2016,
2016. Okay. So that
married
was
in
the last year I
17.
met my wife. Okay.
Yeah,
So at that time, right, how much did you weigh then when you first met your wife until the time you started in the program in August?
I was probably maybe like 331, 332.
Okay. So roughly the same weight in 2016 when you met your wife, you were the same weight when you started the program August 2022.
Correct. Yeah, I lost a little bit, but nothing
Okay.
to feel good about.
So still was in the 300-pound club
100%.
time you met your wife to the time we met.
100%. Yep.
So let me ask you this, Asad. As a career professional, a husband, how did you see the shift in the way your wife, like the way she comes to you, the way she handles you now? Have you found anything different in your marriage since going from what was it, 325 when we first started working together?
327.
327 to now you're at 250 what?
258 and a half or so.
In 32 weeks.
32 weeks.
Wow. What changes you see in your marriage from then till now?
I think the first thing is, when, and you've been married 7 years, right? So like when, I had a lot of history of like half-assing things when it comes to goals. I'm a, you know, save up this money. I'm gonna get a new car. I'm gonna paint the house. I'm gonna stain the fence. All talk. I had wanted to learn a new language. I had, wanted to, apply myself and, I wanted to learn how to be a better mechanic. Like if I wanted to replace the carburetor in my car, I'd been telling my wife for years, yeah, I'm gonna learn. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
watch YouTube. I'm gonna do it.
yeah.
Um, when you start, when you have a partner and you go through life and you are consistently making empty promises, they start to not take you very serious.
Mhm.
And the weight loss journey is another one of those empty promises. I'm gonna lose weight. I'm gonna do it. I know I'm big now, but I'm gonna get better. You have it in the back of your mind that you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
But it's just in one ear out the other for your spouse. Like they don't take you serious. Um, and the thing you don't realize, specifically about like a weight loss journey that's different than, you wanting to, become, versed in another language is it directly affects your partner and it directly affects your relationship. Whether you see it or not, it's 100% impacts that person's ability to maybe at some level feel confident about you,
Mhm.
maybe travel certain places, go certain places, because there's a constant worry about you and your size,
Mhm.
and some of it is reputational. She worries about the reputation that carries with being a big person. And sometimes it's like, I'm worried about this restaurant we could go to because I don't know if you could fit on the chair. Or if it's worried that I'm worried about for me taking you to a soul food place because I know you're about to tear up a plate and a half of mac and cheese and I'm not trying to be around someone like that. Or if it's going to the wing stop and I know you can't order no normal size 12 wings, you have to get 20 and get the get the party tray. You know what I'm saying? Like uh it's all impacted. And so when you tell your partner, and as men you start to tell your wife that you're going to go do something and you actually do it, the reflection of your spouse that you see is very different. So for me it's very, very different because
Mm.
it's you said you're going to do something and I didn't really know if you were serious because you always be talking, but
Yeah.
your clothes don't fit. You know what I'm saying? Like I had to get like I can't even like you and I have bought suits before for outfits because my niece is graduating. Like your outfits don't even fit no more. Or, like your pants don't fit, your belts don't fit. You look like a totally different person. And it's different in the course of a marriage because that person is attaching their livelihoods to you. As men, we have an obligation to provide.
Yep.
And when you get married and when you're with a serious partner, person that's really, really connected to you and really committed themselves to you, as a woman, she gives up her livelihood, her passions, her motivations, even at some levels, her family, in order to create something with you. And as a man, you have an obligation to treat that seriously. And part of the way that you treat that seriously is to take yourself seriously. So
Mm-hmm.
when you start to do that, when you start to take yourself seriously, like the way that I look, the way that I behave is no longer acceptable to me, let alone acceptable to my spouse. I mean, the repercussions of what that does for your marriage are life changing because she sees you as that serious person now because you are a reflection of her on the ability to provide for her, not just as monetarily, but you have to be for her there emotionally. You have to be there for her spiritually. You have to be there for her unconditionally to provide love her. You have to sustain her. We have those obligations as men, but that changes the second that she sees you as a serious person because you take yourself serious.
Mm. So before you joined the program,
Mhm.
what were some of the things that you kind of struggled with when it came to nutrition and working out, or hell, just even staying consistent on a program for the long term? Like, what were some of the things that you struggled with before getting in the program when you were at 327, and some of the things that you did to get over those hurdles to stay on track?
Um, Number one, I would say only working out when I felt like it,
Mm.
which is like damn near never. I never feel like working out. Like I don't never wake up like, damn, I can't wait to go to the gym. Every day I wake up like, damn, I got to go to the gym. But so getting over that feeling of like, you know what, I'm never going to be thrilled all the time, 100% of the time going to the gym. I would say 75, 80% of the time, I don't feel like going to the gym. But
Right.
because it's so routine, you take the emotions out of it. You wake up and you just go. So that I think is a big one. Two, I had convinced myself that walking is exercise. So if I do 10,000 steps, I'm good. Like that's my movement. I'm good. I convinced you couldn't tell me nothing. Like I had my little Fitbit and I had my goal set on my watch. 10,000 steps. I reach my goal. Shit, I'm eating whatever I want to. Y'all can't tell me nothing. I mean, whatever I feel like. I had convinced myself that. I also had convinced myself that as long as I'm awake, I'm burning calories. I convinced myself that. So
Ooh.
if I'm
So,
awake, I'm burning calories. So if I'm sleeping, how am I burning calories? Because my metabolism slows down. So how if I'm awake, I'm burning calories. So yeah, if aren't I better off being awake for 18 hours and sleeping six than I am for being awake for 14 and sleeping eight? I
wow.
convinced myself that in my mind. Like, if I'm awake, I'm burning calories. It makes sense. I'm out moving around, standing up. Like, okay, I'm burning calories. That is as backwards of logic as it gets when you go through this program. Because
Wow.
why am I retaining weight at 327? Because my ass is not sleeping. I'm not laying down. And even when I am sleeping, it's like 2 to 3 hours at a time. I was in a job previous to when I joined the one I'm in now, where
Mhm.
all of my sites were in the Middle East. So I was working Middle East hours. So, bro, I'm up at 2:30 in the morning
Uh-huh.
working, maybe going to sleep around like maybe 3 p.m., maybe sleep from 3 to 6, then wake up and deal with my wife when she comes back at 6,
Mhm.
then go to sleep maybe again around 11 p.m. for 3 hours. And so every 9 to 12 hours, I'm sleeping 3 hours at a time. That was my cycle for 2 years. Bro, that is havoc on your health, havoc. My blood pressure went up, my cholesterol went up, my A1C went up. Um, I didn't check my testosterone. I know my testosterone went down. When I'm trying to have kids with my wife, my sperm count went down. Everything that is healthy was completely reversed because that was the cycle that I was on. But I had convinced myself, if I'm up and I'm burning calories, so I'm good. I can eat whatever I want to. That's the most backwards thinking that exists in previous to the program.
Yeah. So getting in the program, right? What was the main thing that helped you stay on track through the program? Like any aspect of the program, like out of everything that we do, we got a thorough system that we follow, right?
Yep.
What was the biggest part of the program or the main key that helped you stay on track going from that 327 to 258?
Um, was I would say the main key was taking your emotions out of it. Like it's not hard to go to the gym. You just have to put in work. But if you start to think about it, you start to have self-doubt. You start to think this idea that, oh, I'll go to the gym later. No, you're not. You're not going to the gym later. You need to wake up and go. Go to the gym when you wake up. Bro,
Mm,
when you're a career focused person, let alone a father,
yeah.
you have no idea what life is going to throw at you in that given day. You have no, your kid might get sick. I like when I'm at home, my water heater busted. Like life happens. You're at home, you got floods in your house.
Yep.
Like if you don't plan properly and plan your schedule and non-negotiate with yourself when it comes to working out, you'll always make up excuses. You'll always make up excuses not to go to the gym. Oh, I did. I was in the gym three times this week. I'm good. Or oh, I didn't really eat that bad, so I'm good. I don't really need to go to the gym. You can't do that in this program. You can't do that. If you're serious, you got to take yourself serious and take the emotions out of it. Every single day is an opportunity for you to lose weight. You're not going to lose weight every single day, but it's that discipline of going every single day. And you do that over the course of many, many months and not count the days, not count the wins. And you just take your emotions out of it and you just show up. The results will speak for themselves at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So do you think that was something you were dealing with before you even got in the program? Like before we even met back in
Mm-hmm.
August 2022, right? Do you think that was something that was holding you back, like the emotional side aside? Like
Yeah, 100%.
how to handle that?
It,
Like,
it's all emotional. I mean, of course, I knew how to work out,
mm,
right? But it's like, it's all the self doubt. Like, man, I haven't worked out in so long. When I hit this bench, my shirt's going to go up and people are going to look at my belly. People are going to be judging me when I'm in there sweating my ass off. Or, you know, I don't want to go with the rest of these fit motherfuckers because they're going to be, you know, benching 225 and I'm starting at 185 on the bench. Or, I can't squat because I don't want to hurt myself. All of the feelings that all of the self-doubt. You can't do it. You are boxing yourself in. I wish I could see how much potential a human being and human body has.
mm,
It's an incredible force and an incredible machine. And we're all been blessed with an incredible human spirit. And that human spirit is resilient and your body is resilient. The thing that's not resilient is your mind. And you get in those feelings with all that self-doubt. But
yeah.
your body can handle way more than you think it can. But the thing is, you put that mental block and limitation on yourself on what you could do. You know how many times I've been on a stair master telling myself I can only do 100 stairs and I mess around and cover up what the stair count is and I'll do like 130 and not even think about it. And
Mm,
I can't believe I did 130. Yeah, because your body can handle it. You just are putting all these limitations on yourself. So once you get over that, the fact that these limitations are self-induced. I am doing this to myself. They're self-inflicted. I have the doubts I have, the concerns I have, they're all myself. So
mm,
if I take the process and treat it true for what it is, and I know that I'm working with a coach who is going to lead me the right way, teach me the right way, build me up the right way, help me with the discipline, help me with the strategy, help me with the plan, help me with the schedule. All you got to do is execute. That's it. But if you start to think about it, then you're shooting yourself in the foot. You just have to execute the plan. That's it. You don't have to be creative. You don't have to be smart. Rodney always talks about it. You don't have to do all these, TikTok workouts and, you know, people benching bikes and, balancing themselves on medicine ball. You don't have to do all that. You know what I'm saying? Don't get cute.
Never.
You don't have to get cute and oil yourself up for the gram and thinking, no, just execute the plan. That's all you got to do. You got the plan. Rodney will break it down for you. Get your emotions out of it. Execute the plan. That's it. Take your emotions out of it.
Got you, man. Look, that's the best thing, man. Because again, you ain't got to think about, okay, do I got to do this, that, the third? All right, we literally give you all of that, man. So again, ASAD, right? Started at 327. Now you're at 258.
Yep.
And I've heard all of your stories, right? But anybody that's listening to this, I think they need to hear it as well, right? Going from that 300-pound club in the 250s now.
Yep.
The story about when you went out and your friend walked by you because he didn't recognize you. Like, how has weight loss affected all your other relationships, like outside of your marriage, like your friends and your in the workplace? Like, talk about that, man. Like, because that's life changing, bro.
Yeah. So let me. I'll start first with my at work, and then I'll talk about my friends.
Okay.
So at work, because I'm in HR, I have a lot of conversations with people about work life balance and how they manage their stress. And a lot of the stress that's induced at work is because they're doing a poor job of taking care of their health. And so
Mm.
a lot of the conversations I have with people are like, when I'm on Zoom calls with you, like you're more relaxed than you were 6 months ago. Or, your neck, your face is smaller, your neck, I can just notice that your shirt is baggier than it was 6 months ago. It seems like you're losing weight. They can only see me on Zoom. They don't know what I look like
Yeah.
in person. And it's like, yeah, because I'm a healthier person. And okay, well, you're healthier, but how are you? It seems like you're doing better at work. I'm like, well, I am doing better at work. So you're my HR person. So let me talk to you. How are you doing that? It's like, well, I'm sleeping more. I'm hydrating more. I'm going to the gym religiously. I have now set boundaries for myself in terms of when I'm not going to log into work before 8 o'clock because when I wake up, I have things I got to do. And
Mm.
that also means 6 p.m. I'm logging off of work and I'm logging off of work because I got things I got to do at home. I have things I'm gonna do to take care of myself. I'm gonna do things to take care of my family. And this work time, I'm here to work. And so once you bucket your life that way, it ends up, that stress that you feel, that stress that we have induced at work, and it even could happen outside of work, is because we have all these things we're worried about and all these things we're trying to juggle. What the program teaches you and what your health teaches you is that it's impossible to balance all these things. You can't be at work and be at the gym at the same time. It's impossible because if you're really focused and doing your workouts that you're supposed to be doing, pushing yourself as hard as you're supposed to be doing, keeping your heart rate up, changing exercises every 45 seconds to a minute, there's ain't no way you could be on a phone call and be out of breath. It's impossible. And so what that teaches you is if you really commit yourself and put your heart to something and be all in that moment there and be active and present, then it forces yourself to think that way. In the HR world, we call it human moments. And
Mm.
those human moments are the genuine parts of when you have fully open, honestly committed yourself to do the task in front of you. And that means whether it's the job that's in front of you, whether it's being a great leader, it
Right.
could be a great husband, it could be being committed in the gym. And once you have those moments, that's really how you reduce the stress, is being committed in that moment and focused in that what that is. So that once you accomplish that, you move on to the next. Because if you half-ass in two things, it just means you failing at two things rather than one. So you got to be focused on in there. So I've been able to talk about that at work. That's come from being healthier, right?
Mm.
I'm bringing it professionally, but that starts from becoming healthier because the question is, well, how do you balance your stress at work? Well, my first question is, well, what are you sleeping like? Well, my sleep is trash. Well, why don't you sleep better? You're worried about being stressed out at work. You're not even getting 5 hours of sleep.
Mm.
How do you expect to be productive at work? Forget your health. How can your mind even operate if you're not even sleeping the required minimum amount for an adult?
Mm.
Then I can ask, okay, well, how much are you hydrating? Oh, I drink 2 cups of coffee. Okay, well, how much water do you drink? Okay, well, I might drink a glass or two a day. That's nowhere near enough.
Mm.
Then you could build in, well, okay, well, what do you do to release stress release? Do you keep on yourself active or moving around? It's like, oh, well, I do yoga. Okay, well, how do you keep your heart rate up? How do you, challenge yourself? How do you break a sweat? Like
Yeah.
you can break it out for them at work and kind of have it make sense. So for me, the life change when you lose the weight is I've been able to kind of rationalize that for the people I work with. Now with my friends, they
Mm-hmm.
obviously see the change, right? So they see you look different and see your clothes fit different. And, my friends they always want to know, like, bro, you've been overweight for 20 years. Like, how in the world, like, what is the catalyst for this? And it's like I had to take myself serious. Something that Rodney always talks about with me is if you really, really love your family and love your wife, and
Yeah.
as good of a partner and a husband as you say that you are, then you are going to do whatever it takes to be the best that you could be. But you can't wake up and perform as a man, whether it's on your job or your role in your family, if you are not your best. And the only person that can answer that question is you. When you wake up and look in the mirror every day, if you know you're not your best, then it needs to be what we say in the professional world, a growth mindset or a
Mm-hmm.
continuous improvement mindset, meaning I'm always sharpening my sword. I'm never waking up and thinking I'm good, I'm settled, I got everything I want to do. Now you can always be a little bit better. If you
Oh.
don't have that mindset, yeah, if you don't have that mindset, then you might as well just chalk it up and get ready for the 600-pound life because that's the show you're going to be on. Because
Man,
you just might as well just mail it in at that point, right? Because there's always something you can refine on. For us big dudes, it starts with our health.
mm, man. So not to drag this out aside, this is a great conversation. And again, you and I always have these deep talks and we can go on and on and on, right? But for anybody that's gonna watch this, right? Because this is being recorded April 28th, 2023. For anybody that's gonna watch this, right? No matter how far from now, what three tips would you give them, a career focused father and husband, 50 to 100 pounds overweight, to just get started? Or if they want to get started in this program, what three things would you give them?
First, it's not too late. It don't matter what state you're on, stage of your health journey and on, it's not too late. I don't care if you're 300 pounds. I don't care if you're 400 pounds. I don't care if you're 500 pounds. It's not too late. I don't care if you're 20 years old, 30 years old, 40 years old. It does not matter. You are not, it's not too late because the human body is an amazing thing. And the human body does something that most organisms in the world and structures in the world don't do. It has the ability to repair itself. But the only way that it does that is if you can help that process along, starting with your health journey. So it's not too late. It is not too late. You can always be better than you are now. That's my first tip. The
Okay.
second tip I would say is it's okay to ask for help. You can't like you can think to yourself you have it all figured out. You can think to yourself that you know what healthy looks like. It's okay. It's okay to work with someone who does this for a living. It's okay to work with someone who has heard all the excuses. It's okay to work with someone who's been a big dude before, who ate wings, drank some Corona, and went to sleep. It's okay. So someone like Rodney knows the mindset, and he knows the way all the hundreds of excuses. Probably Rodney's already not only done them, but he's heard them in the program. It's all there. So it's okay to ask for help. There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't make you any less of a man. It doesn't make you any less proud on your health journey. There is nothing wrong with raising your hand and saying, I'm unhappy with my situation. The hardest part is being honest with yourself and doing something about it. There's nothing wrong with asking for help at all. It's okay to do that. We all need help sometimes. That's, especially as strong men, there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with being vulnerable. It's okay to do that because it takes
Absolutely.
that to grow, to be a better person. Um, Probably the other thing is you'll never know, you'll never know how good it is to reach a goal that you set for yourself until you actually do it. It's
Man,
great to talk about in theory, but if you set yourself like, man, I can't wait to lose 20 pounds or 30 pounds or 40 pounds. And when you start to achieve it, the amount of opportunities that are open to yourself after that, that self-doubt starts to slowly evaporate from your mind because you can recognize, hey, all I got to do is take myself serious and I could go do something. Not only do you feel that, but your people and loved ones around you will see that too. And it starts with yourself. And it doesn't have to be a crazy goal, right? Your first goal could be lose 10 pounds.
right.
But when you start to do it, I don't care. My favorite thing to eat is mac and cheese. You could give me mac and cheese delivered by God Himself. Like the best mac and cheese ever created. Ain't nothing feels better than when you set a goal and accomplish it yourself. That feeling, the amount of stress, the amount of pressure, the amount of resolve it gives you, it's like it becomes addictive because you just like, I can't wait to set the next goal and knock that out.
Man, man, that's amazing, bro. And again, you laid it everything out, right? So again, man, thanks for joining me, ASAD. Again, I don't want to hold you, but man, this has been a great conversation, and I really hope this helps somebody. All the brothers that's gonna come behind you and watch this video, and who probably are on the fence about joining the program, man. So again, bro, thanks for joining me, and we're gonna talk soon, all right?
Yeah, that sounds good, bro.